Okay, well, Ghosts of Tsushima has launched, and I'm not necessarily a PlayStation fanboy, but my heart goes out to all the PlayStation bros out there because PlayStation is right, and IGN actually made a fucking article about this. Is that PlayStation has a reputation for making these kinds of games that are just like overly emotional, don't allow for much creativity. They just want to tell a story. And it's obviously that PlayStation Studios is infested with activists. And there's no more a fucking result of that than Ghosts of Woke. Now, this is a game that had an insane. I've never seen a fucking advertisement campaign like this. They must have spent just like fucking millions upon millions of dollars on this ad. You see it everywhere. You see it on TV. You see it on fucking like ads in like Reddit and X and stuff. You see it. You see it just everywhere. So PlayStation must have just absolutely hammered this home, and it's because of probably the reason they made this game in the first place is because they wanted to prop up a stupid dumb activist, Erica Ishii, and make her all, look at Erica Ishii, she's so successful, look at how great she is. That's the whole reason they made this game. The reason they made Ghosts of Wokutai is because they wanted to take something some people loved, men loved. They wanted a Japanese samurai open world game that they've never been able to make. They fucked it up with Shadows. They fucked up with Wokutai, and they just have never really made a great open world samurai game, which is so unfortunate because now we got this garbage. So they're coping hardcore. They're gonna be saying the sales, and like honestly, who cares if it's successful? It's a bad idea for a video game. It's a video game that really just wanted to make people angry. And that's the thing. You're gonna see so many people online saying, "Ah, fucking woke tide didn't sell this, didn't sell that." Who cares, if it did, yeah, or not? It's just abysmal. Look at this. So this is the comparison to that. So in the first 3 days, they have claimed that it sold 2 million. Now, of course, we'll never know the actual PlayStation numbers because PlayStation numbers is like this secret in a vault that they just will never release. If you Woke Tai did terribly, we're never gonna hear about it ever. Veilguard had 1.5 million copies sold total and was a massive failure. Now, on the scale of Veilguard, you have this game that has sold 2 million copies. Now, how much do you want to bet that Ghosts of Wokutai, all the people who have bought it already have bought it and have played it? You're seeing things all over the internet like store shelves full of it, and they can lie about this. They can lie all they want about that. Look, sounds like Ghost Kai has or is close to passing for a million. So even if it sold like a million and a bit, a million, 1.2 million, they'd be like, oh, it's close to 2 million. It's like they would do this. They're like some of these woke game studios and industry leads. They're the most scummy people in the industry. They will lie through their teeth because Erica Ishii is now associated with Antifa, probably because she's not even at all. She just typed it in stupidly into X to say, "Oh, I'm Antifa, and so is my wife," just because she is a fucking deranged leftist idiot. And this is where we're at with gaming is that these people are in the industry not because they like games, not because they care about the art form of games. They loaded up Tsushima.exe and they fucking put this dumb bitch in here, and now they're like, whoa, look at this game, it's so much better than Yōtei. Their whole advertising push. And when you see the shills online talking about Ghosts of Yōtei, their whole thing is it's better than Tsushima. Let's erase Tsushima. There's no more Tsushima. You can't have Ghost of Tsushima anymore. There's no more Ghost of Tsushima. Now it's Ghost of Yōtei. And how much you want to bet they're already planning to stick it to the chuds by making a sequel to this shit with this dumb bitch Erica Ishii. Now, it's hilarious because it's like you see it's like 10 out of 10, amazing game, Metacritic, incredible, PlayStation Store 5 out of 10. But then you go on to the actual like thing where everybody can vote, and it's at 3.5. So there's probably a ton of people who fucking don't even bother that. It's a paid shill game. They paid off the reviewers. They paid off shills online to promote it. There's all kinds of people on YouTube, Twitch, and wherever that are just like, it's the best game ever. Thank you, PlayStation, for sending me a fucking $5,000 check or $25,000 check and promoting your dumb game. It's what they do, man. They will fucking shill so hard for this garbage, and they do. And so this game. Let's see if the Wikipedia has anything about the controversy. Nope. Oh, reception. Oh, look at the reception. It's the best game ever. Videogamer.com, 7 out of 10. Let's look at that. Look at the disparity in that fucking shit. Eurogamer, 3 out of 5. Basically close to 50% or 6 out of 10. And IGN, even IGN gave an 8 out of 10. Now you really gotta wonder where IGN's 8 out of 10 came from, because this is their game. Erica Ishii and Tifa, taking a fucking game that the chuds liked and turning it woke and dumb. This is what fucking these people love. So why did they give it 8 out of 10? It doesn't make any sense. 8 out of 10 isn't bad, but then again, it's not great either. It's not like the best thing ever that you're seeing in some of these 9 out of 10s and 10 out of 10s. GameSpot definitely just shilled hardcore. Called it an improvement on Tsushima. Really, what did it improve? Adding a dumb fucking woman that is ugly and annoying. That's the only thing they did to it? Maybe the graphics are slightly better. But people love Ghost of Tsushima, so they had to come in and make it stupid. Uh, yeah, and I mean, they're coming out with a multiplayer as blah blah blah. Well, I don't care about the game and the story. But the real story is how gaming has all these different avenues. There's good developers and bad developers and annoying woke ones, and PlayStation falls in that category of they can make good games because they have incredible amounts of power in the industry and money, but they often choose these emotional, normie, boring adventures that's like, oh my god. It's like Last of Us 2 is like the best example of this, you know what I mean? It is like the quintessential Last of Us thing. And it's just like, it is just that type of thing. And oh, would you look at that, America? Ghost of Tsushima is that latest, that a botched sequel that does everything worse than the original. These claims are getting drowned out by some type of metric that there's and you got to remember that with PlayStation putting so much money into the budget for marketing this, of course they're going to put in the money for the damage control. Now, Facebook I rarely use besides just family, and yeah, I've got my family on there. But I've been scrolling through some of the shit on Facebook. And what you see in Facebook is see, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this fucking dumb Sam Hayan guy. Atsu is a far more fearsome than Jin Sakai and Ghost of Yōtei. So he's already just fucking, it's so much better. Jin Sakai had everything to lose. Atsu is just, she's just the best. Look how great she is. It's the dumb thing. It's the same thing we saw with Shadows, where they took what could have been just an awesome fucking dude from Japanese history that they could add in a Japanese male, and they were like, oh look, it's a black dude. The black dude's better, and fucking he's so much better. So it's all stupid. And it is all clearly stuff that they have put thought into destroying and erasing Tsushima. They've done all these things, and even if it's a failure, which it's definitely gonna. If they made a Ghost of Tsushima 2, and it's like another Japanese guy, and it's very like grounded in reality, they they would have done so much better. It would have sold like 5 million copies by now. Ghost of Tsushima 2 breaks records, 6 million copies in the first blah blah blah. Just massive things. Instead, they're coping with these things, saying, "Oh, it's got strong sales. Look at how good it is." It's the same thing we saw with Veilguard. This is the same shit. They do the same shit. Now, Veilguard was just an absolute fucking train wreck because that's all across the board. But what you see with PlayStation shills is that PlayStation shills are a very. They just think that PlayStation is the superior gaming way. I take games from everywhere. Right? PlayStation, old school PlayStation games, old school PC games, old school Nintendo games. I love it all. So I'm never going to say that I'm never going to exclusively play a PlayStation 5. But then you get these moron shills for PlayStation 5 that they only have a PlayStation 5. They only buy PlayStation first party titles. They only have, this is their only avenue for gaming. And of course, they're going to just this is, hey, here you go, bro. Here's the newest fucking PlayStation game. They'll just like, oh, this is the greatest thing ever. Look it's my new PlayStation game. And they do that. So, look at this. Not feeling at all actually disappointed. It's just okay. I'm not feeling at all. Vote. And look at the results. It's like, look at the results. Like, I'm absolutely loving it. Push Square, I would imagine, is a heavy, heavy, heavy shill site. How long ago vote? Oh yeah, so like, look, most people are only putting in 5 to 10 hours, and these are the types of games that these gamers title to. These games are curated to the normiest of normie casuals. Ghosts of Yōtei is. It is just like the fucking normie game of fucking normie games. They they're like, this is a game made for people who are left-leaning morons. They fucking play like maybe a couple hours a week of video games. Video games is not their primary source of entertainment, and they're just gonna take whatever shit is shoveled to them. And these are the types of people that are most obnoxious shillers online, is because then they go online saying it's the best ever. It's so great. What are you talking about? They want to justify their purchase that they're overly not going to spend a lot of time with. So what else do we got here in Yōtei? How to find lost Itsu items. Blah 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 blah. Let's see. Ghost of Yōtei. How long to beat? Because I want a 30 hours. What are you fucking talking about? I want a samurai game that is like Skyrim, but for feudal Japan. They won't make that game. They've made, fucking DEI slop shit in Japan fucking constantly. Let's see what IGN says in their like fucking review here. These idiots, because IGN had some, oops. They gave Ghost of Tsushima higher, so there had to be a reason for that. Over 60 hours, yeah. I mean, for some people, I mean, only the casual would say that they want a game that's short, like it puts a limit on how long a game should be. Because I've played over 5,000 hours in Total War Warhammer 3, and I've put thousands and thousands of untapped hours. These are just games that I'll play in Skyrim. Just like forever played Skyrim. So there's no a predictable, well-executed story takes you through Ghosts of Yōtei. Gorge landscapes is revolution. It may not be revolutionized open-world games. So what they're meaning to say here is that it's literally just Ghosts of Tsushima. That's what they want to say, but they won't say that. But it's a great distillation of the samurai fantasy. I will tell you how this game was made, okay? I will promise you this is how this game was made. What they did is a whole bunch of activists at PlayStation said, "Oh my God, Ghost of Tsushima is this big fucking success. Everybody loves it." And then a bunch of activists said, "Hey, look, let's load up Ghost of Tsushima.exe, the program we use to make it, whatever. Switch the map around, change a bunch of assets to make it look like a different game, change a bunch of character models and doing all that stuff that they already did for Ghost of Tsushima that was already like built in the world and everything, and it was that easy to just kind of just take a game, change it around a little bit, and then call it a new game." And that's how they made it. It's like they did not make a new game here. This is just another game to do that. Look at this person says. This is interesting. About what I expected. Good game, but there's just too much out right now to warrant an immediate purchase. Says the person who's never gonna buy it in the first place. People are so salty. And you'll see that with Ghost of Tsushima. Ghost of Yōtei people is that they want their samurai game. They want it so bad. They want it to be cool. They want to be like Ghost of Tsushima. You know, they want to be like Skyrim. They want their game. And when they see other people don't fucking like it and think it's a dumb idea, they get really defensive and they get really hateful. I agree. I wish Sony was on board with simultaneous PC releases. But that won't happen anytime soon. My PC is significantly more powerful than that. Yeah. Easy day one for love Ghost of Tsushima. You know, and how could you want to do that? You got Ghost of Tsushima. You know, you see this going along around, and there's what is that synth potato dude? He's just making a fucking dumbass of himself on X lately. We'll see if we can bring that up on X here. That synth potato, these shills, what they do is they're like, you don't like playing as women because you're an incel, blah 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 blah. But um, these people are like mega shills, and what they do is that they pretend that this fucking idiot on X, is like the biggest shill ever for PlayStation games. What does he do? So he's been hardcore shilling for Ghost of Yōtei for a while here. And what he does is he's like, this is the best game. What an art form. Legit. What happening in gaming discourse? And he just freaks out in his comments. Look at this shit. He just spurges out in his comments. Because when people calls him out on his like just absolutely embarrassing shilling. This guy's probably gets paid like a good amount of money from PlayStation or Ghost of Yōtei or marketing agencies. He probably gets paid slipped money under the thing. And you know, this is like he's probably has a source of income out of this. So he spends a huge amount of time, you know, just online shilling for these people, probably because he's got paid for it. But like, look at this. Look at this. Look at how he just constantly fucking shills for this. Rate my Atsu, y'all. Looks gay. I love fucking with people on Twitter, but like, I mean, look at this. He just shills. He just is an absolute tool. This dude, but he did one the other day. Where's the other one? This one. This is the one that he really garnered a lot of. He just fucking cope the fucking high hell on this. Look at him just splurging out. That's hilarious. But I mean, this is their whole thing, is that they're like, you guys people don't like playing as women. It's like, what are you talking about? It's like, there's a certain type of woman I like to see in my video games. Number one, she's fucking hot. Number two, she's like, you know, a good person. Number three, she's not just a woke tard that has been inserted into the games. Like, yeah, the Claire Obscure one's not that bad. You know, Naue is an absolute fucking woke tard. She looks like she's from California. Erica Ishii is a fucking retard. Silent Hill F chick is just like whatever, but they this is how they twist it. It's like, you don't like women, you're fucking, like, dude, fucking, like, what are you talking about? Like, honestly, people like this moron is like, if you don't like video games, you suck for you. You're like, yo, man, I've had a fucking great year in video games. Like, I don't know if you know what I've been playing, but I play only the best. And that Silent Hill F would be great. Claire Obscure looks really interesting, but like all this other shit, it's like, who gives a fuck about? There's so many good games out there. Mario Galaxy, and this is hilarious. Okay, this is hilarious. Where is this? Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 are phenomenal video games. And what they've been doing is, because these games, Ghost of Yōtei and Mario Galaxy 1 and 2, both came out at the same time, they've been comparing the two. They're like, look, it's doing better. It's like, yo, Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 is a fucking 15-year-old games. These are two 15-year-old games. And it's competing with that. Like, how fucking pathetic is that for that? This week's third, it's third in sales over that fucking in the UK charts or whatever. So, like, what the hell are you doing there? That's hilarious. Minecraft's still at 8. That's so hilarious. This is a 15-year-old game competing with Sony's greatest and latest. Like, that is so hilarious. And you've seen some cope on it, because what people have been saying online is along the shit of being like, it's a fucking scam. They're just trying to sell an old game. Like, these are two of the most like, yeah, the price is probably a little high, but I mean, that's Nintendo. You just get used to it. But the fact that two 15-year-old plus games are competing with Sony's latest and greatest is just it's so modern landscape, They just can't come up with good ideas. They have to rely on older games, and that's like Ghost of Yōtei. That's what they're doing. They just took a game that people already liked, switched the main character around, like, here's your new game, here's your samurai game, bro. So it's so funny. Like, Ghost of Yōtei for me represents the utter failure of them to be able to make 22 hours main plus extra 30. So can you fucking imagine? That is such a casual ass game. You can't even spend more than 60 to 100 hours in a game that's supposed to be open world full of samurai action. You can't even live in that world. It's just like, here's your experience, now get out. Who wants to spend their fucking days running around as Erica Ishii on her fucking period, splurging out at everyone? But yeah, it's now. Let's see what Ghost of Tsushima. Just out of curiosity, it is fucking hilarious that they can't get a samurai game. Traditional playstyle is a 47. Okay, so it's about 65 hours and stuff. So it's not the biggest game either. These games, can you imagine? Can you imagine how much hours, countless hours I've spent roaming around in Skyrim, or my 5K hours in Total War Warhammer? These are games that I just cherish, and you can just live in. These games that PlayStation makes, they don't cater to that type of gameplay. They don't make games that you can, live in a different world. They just want you in, experience all the cutscenes, and you're out. They want to tell this short, condensed story. Yōtei at 22 hours for the main story is fucking embarrassing, man, for a fucking game. That is fucking ridiculously hilarious. So, Ghost of Yōtei launches exactly what I expected. Look at all this. And the anti-woke crowd is going to be on this game again. They're going to be making all kinds of stories. They're going to be making all kinds of videos. But the truth of the matter is the gaming industry is deeply infected with idiotic decisions. And they have retards like Erica Ishii involved in it now, and they can just like gaming technology is where it's at now, which is a blessing and a curse because now people who are retarded can make video games of high detail and that they can take over studios and make games like Veilguard that just absolutely fucking fail on their face, and you get shit like this. And it's a blessing and a curse. But at the same time, with that same technology, we can get games like Clear Obscure Expedition 33. We can get games like this from a fairly small outfit making crazy ideas for games with highly detailed worlds. So there's those two sides of the coin. There's both shitty games that are boring and dumb come from idiots, and there are both games that come from just people who are just deeply passionate and just want cool, awesome video games. And if Claire Obscure loses to Ghost of Yōtei for Game of the Year, you will know, and guaranteed, Game Award shows, people get paid under the fucking counter all the time for this. It's just like Shills. They just people are just slipping money. It's all about the money. They're just always fucking sending money through. You're gonna see that it's not about the art of making video games. It's not about the true essence of what makes a game world incredible. It's about who can pay the most money and take up these, Ghost of Tsushima.exe folder, a bunch of woke retards in a fucking sweaty Californian studio somewhere, making up a dumb game about a pointless story about some, how we're going to own the chuds. Compared to a passionate group of people who just want to make a great video game. They love the art of video games, they love what it is, and they have created something beautiful and something that people come back to over and over again. People aren't going to come back to Ghost of Yōtei in fucking 5 years. Are you kidding me? When this comes out for PC in 5 years from now, say this comes out next year for PC. In 5 years from now, there will be like 100 people in game. It's like, I'm telling you right now, bookmark this shit. Ghost of Yōtei comes out next year, 2026. At 2030, there will be like 100 people in game. Nobody cares. Nobody wants to fucking be Erica Ishii. Only the retard shills. So yeah, that's it. We've concluded our assessment of Ghost of Yōtei. It's just like Assassin's Creed Shadows. It's the same type of shit. They're trying to take something cool like feudal Japan, and they're morphing it into their little story about how a woman is repressed and angry, or a black guy who doesn't belong in feudal Japan is somehow the greatest thing ever. This is what they do. This is what they love to do. There's the people who love video games, and there's people who love to take video games and make it their own. Like that's the landscape and culture of video games is on a lot of levels. Now then, on the other side of it, on the flip side, there are people like me who just play good games that I like. I stay away from games that are stupid, and I don't have to waste my time fucking around with idiots and Trooning and Veilguard. Actually, I will admit, I had a lot of fun playing around with the Veilguard fucking level editor. It's a video I have on my channel. It's so funny. And I play Reloaded demo. So the essence of this is we have to make fun of these games. But really, there's not a lot to make fun of with Ghost of Yōtei, because it's just a joke within itself, and it's going to be a boring, sloppy fucking samurai simulator. And nobody wants to listen to fucking dumbass Erica Ishii. So, I mean, yeah, that's it. That's the end of Ghost of Yōtei. It came out, the shills fucking were jerking themselves off for fucking hours on end over it. And in a couple years, people will forget it existed. The end, Ghost of Yōtei.